Yo, it's me, it's the SCOTT, and I'm back with you today to bring you my review for Dracula 2000. Alright, so, Dracula 2000. I don't hear many good things about this movie. Even the original reception of the film was bad, and I don't get it. I love this movie from the cinematography to the effects to the acting to the music. This film, to me, I love it. I do. I really enjoyed watching it today. And it begs the question, why don't I watch this more? In fact, I decided when I was on the toilet, before doing this review, that come October, God willing, I'm going to do a commentary for this as part of my Halloween horror month. If I don't forget. With me, so I might. But yeah, I love this movie. I really do. I enjoyed it. So, it's Dracula, but in a modern setting. It's got all the things from the Dracula. You have Dracula. You have, Van Helsing. And you have the Mina of the story, which in this movie, his name is Mary, which is a very more updated name. And yeah, I've always been fascinated with vampire movies and TV shows and stuff. That's why I like Angel, Buffy, Supernatural has vampires in it. I've always liked vampire stuff. And the first time I watched this, I rented the VHS tape from the library, and I put it in, and I remember watching this, I'd be like, yeah, this movie's pretty good. The acting list, it's a veritable who's who of late 90s, early 2000s actors. Take this, okay? Johnny Lee Miller, Gerard Butler, Jennifer Esposito, Danny Masterson, Jerry Ryan, Lachlan Monroe, Sean Patrick Thomas, Omar Epps, Shane West, Nathan Fillion. Even the singer Vitamin C plays a character in this movie. She plays Lucy. You get to see her tits for a shot or so during a sex scene she has with Dracula, and that threw me off. Because one, I didn't realize she was Vitamin C until I was watching this. I'm like, she looks a lot like Vitamin C. Then I looked it up. I'm like, holy shit, it is Vitamin C. And then she has the sex scene with Dracula. I'm like, oh. Clearly she was okay with showing some tits. Alright. I'll never listen to that graduation song in the same way again. But as we go on, we remember all the bloody times we had together. I don't know. But yeah. So, the story is that Matthew Van Helsing is a supposed descendant of Abraham Van Helsing, owns this mansion-type place that is built above Colfax Abbey in London. And deep within Colfax Abbey, there is a silver casket, which inside contains the body of Dracula. And Jennifer Esposito plays Solina. She's like the secretary for Van Helsing, and she brings her boyfriend Marcus and some of his friends, with Sean Patrick Thomas, Danny Masterson, a couple of cannon fodder, down there because supposedly they got money down there. So they take the silver casket. It's made of silver. It's got to be worth something. So they take it, and he goes aboard a plane, and Dracula rises, and he kills some people, and he keeps the others. There is representation of the original story here that I found watching this. Now, Dracula, in this film, just a bite turns you into a vampire. Not drinking the blood, this is a simple bite, you're a vampire like the original story did. So, he, in the original Dracula, he had 3 vampire wives. Much like in the Van Helsing movie, which I don't think is as bad as people say, but it's still not a good movie. Here, though, it's Jennifer Esposito, Jerry Ryan, and Vitamin C are his 3 vampire wives, basically. When Jerry Ryan is attacked, I love what they do in the scene. Vampires cannot be seen in mirrors. And so Jerry Ryan is a news reporter in Louisiana reporting on a news story, the crash of the plane that contained Dracula. Shane West is their cameraman, and he's got the camera. And what we're seeing is the view of the camera. And what we see is her just go, and a skirt, like a cut come across her neck. And then you realize something else is going on, and Shane West looks up, and then it's from his view we see, and Dracula is there. I love that. He can't see him through the camera lens. I love how they do that in other TV shows too. You can't see them through the camera lens because there's mirrors in the camera. So it doesn't capture him. I love that. I love that effect where she's just like, well, wow, what's going on? And, and then he looks up and he sees Dracula. I love that. Vitamin C's death is a sex scene. Basically, they're like, he's trying to find Mary because Mary, I guess, is like him. I don't understand that fully because he turns her into a vampire towards the end of the film anyway. But I think it's more like immortal because, as we learn, Matthew Van Helsing is actually Abraham Van Helsing. And after capturing Dracula, he made himself immortal. So, yeah. And he ended up procreating with a normal woman, and that came out Mary. I don't remember her actual name in this, Mary something. But, so Dracula is drawn to Mary because I believe she has the immortal in her. I guess maybe Van Helsing used Dracula's blood to make himself immortal. That would make sense, and that's why he can sense her. I guess there's a wonderfully horrible scene because Simon, played by Johnny Lee Miller, finds Mary first and tells her, "Hey, your father's looking for you." Father? He tells her, "Hey, your father's looking for you," and she doesn't want anything to do with him, right? So she goes home to try to find Lucy. This doesn't really make any sense, this part, though. She goes home, she gets a phone call from Lucy, and she asks where Lucy is, and she says, "You know where," and then she goes upstairs, and there's a phone off the hook, and it's to be implied that Lucy called from upstairs. Is that really believable? That a dorm house has 2 different lines? Like, I'm not familiar with old phones, but can you call from the same phone to another phone in the house? Is that how it works? You call your own number? I don't know. Maybe they had 2 lines. I don't know. I know they had the old, calling from inside the house gag from Black Christmas and When a Stranger Calls, but I don't know. I just don't know. But, yeah. I just kind of iffy on that. She goes upstairs, and this is where it gets horrific. Like, earlier, we see Van Helsing get to the house, and he gets in a fight and thrown into a mirror. So, she sees the mirror, and it's covered, drawn in blood, I forgot what it's called, Aramaic or something. And she goes up, and she sees that something going through the bed, sheet-covered sheet. Oh, she moves the sheet, and there's something going through the bed. She looks under the bed, and there's her father, Van Helsing, dead, pierced through his neck. Just laying there. And she goes, "Father." She's attacked by Lucy. Dracula shows up. Big old fight. There is a scene with Simon that I like. Is that after Mary ditches him to go home, Marcus, who we established earlier, Omar Epps' character, there's a scene where when Van Helsing tells Simon to stay behind originally, Simon doesn't listen and he follows him. He's forced to tell him the truth. That he's actually Abraham Van Helsing, not Matthew, a descendant, And so then they get to, I think it's the funeral home, I guess, but I don't know why the funeral home would just have them laying around in body bags. But I don't know. It's supposed to be the morgue. It's a really big open area with a second level. Funeral homes I can see having a second level, but a morgue? I just watched a movie about a morgue last night. I don't know. Maybe it's the only area they could put the bodies bags. I don't know. But the bodies come back to life. The first one he sees is Solina. And she runs off. Then there's Marcus. There's Danny Masterson's character, which is really wasted. Because it seemed like he was the first one turned. So I figured he would be like the second in command. Like the Harker. Or Renfield. To compare it to the original. But he wasn't. He was just kind of skewered with silver. And yeah, he was basically taken care of. And really, the other two guys from the plane are cannon fodder, basically. Danny Masters is taken out pretty quick, and it's really just the ladies that the Dracula focuses on. Really, like I said, he takes Jerry Ryan and Vitamin C, and they become his vampire brides, technically. And then you have Marcus, his death. He gets in a fight with Simon, and Simon, fighting him off. He has the little gun thing with the blade. And he's trying to put it together. He can't put it together, and Marcus knocks it out of his hand. He picks up one of the spikes. It's silver. It burns his hand. And so Simon takes out the blade, chops his fucking head off. Oh, yeah. I think he first stabs him, and then he chops his head off, I think. One of the two. And that's when, yeah! And the head flies off. It reminded me of Jason Takes Manhattan, but better effects and a better movie. And yeah, that was really cool. The one thing I like about this movie is it kind of brings in a subject of vampire lore that sometimes is explored, and that's lust. Like, things in vampire lore are very lusty sometimes. And there are a couple times where you see Dracula, he's trying to find Mary, and the first two places he goes are very lusty. I don't remember the first one that has to do with sex and stuff, and then he shows up at another place, and on the TV they have a music video playing where there's topless women, and it's blurred out because it's a music video, but he's all... And then what happens? He finds Lucy. He has sex with her, he turns her. It's a very sexual vampire movie. It shows the sexual side, the lusty side of the vampire lore, and I like that. Because that's very much, to me, vampires equal sex. They're very seductive with their moods and their emotions, and just how they breathe. Especially when you got heartthrob Jerry Butler out there. I'm not that kind of guy, but he's not, bad on the eyes, for the women. He was with Jennifer Aniston there for a while. Till they had to take her to jail. That's another movie. But yeah. But yeah. He's what they call the beefcake. 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 But, yeah. So, we get to the end, right? And it's a good ending. Okay, so, I'm going to call this. So, they're looking through the vampire lore stuff that Van Helsing left, and Dracula just shows up. Now, I know we're told that he has a connection to Mary, but how can he now just find her wherever she is? It took him forever to locate her. He was walking the streets for the first hour of this fucking film until he found her. Maybe not the first hour, first half hour, 45 minutes, whatever. Trying to find her, and he only found her roommate. He got lucky. And now, all of a sudden, after one encounter with her, he can find her wherever she goes. And I mean wherever she goes. No matter where they go, he's right there. And that kind of irks me. It's like, you took forever to find her, but now you can just find her like that. Like, they do, like, and then the scene doesn't get any better. They fight him off, and Simon tells her to leave. She runs off, and he grabs the Bible, which he calls propaganda. Now it's time to explain the little bit of twist in this. Now, most versions of Dracula he is Vlad Tepes, or Vlad the Impaler. This version, however, I kind of like the way they go with this. He's Judas Iscariot. And being a vampire is his punishment for betraying Jesus. Yes. Yes. I like it. I do. He betrayed Jesus. Jesus was crucified, and he tried to hang himself, but his punishment was that he will live forever as a vampire, and he's embraced it because of that. And his death is very symbolic, very religious-like, and we'll get to that. But, so, like I said, here. Take the slip cover out. This is Stephen King's It, by the way. But he has the Bible like this, right? And he holds it up to him, and it doesn't really affect him. He's like, propaganda. Now, earlier in the film, they hold a cross up to one of the vampires, and it doesn't do anything. But they say anything holy can stop it. And silver, because it has something to do with Jesus, I don't know. So he opens the book like this, right? Pages fly out and hit him, and it's CGI, so early 2000s CGI, not very good CGI. It hits him, and it starts to make him sound fire a little bit. It's like, hi, hey, hi. I'm like, oh no. I understand that the Bible is supposed to be, deadly to a vampire. It's a weakness. But then when he showed it, he should have been like, not propaganda. And then when it flies out, the pages literally burn him. It's cheesy. It's one of the only few parts I don't like. And now we'll get to the death. So they capture Simon, and I think there's only 2 wives left. No, I think all 3 are there actually. But they have Simon, and at this point, Dracula has bitten Mary, because after this scene, he just finds Mary while Simon is distracted by the wives, and he bites her, and he turns her. But she's not fully turned because she's not fully under his sway like the other 2, because she's different. Because she's Van Helsing's daughter, because she has that immortality already going through her, and she bites. She pretends to bite Simon, but she doesn't, and she ends up killing Lucy, I think, and then Simon gets free, and she stabs Dracula, but it doesn't affect him. Dracula's dead. So after the wives are killed, there's a scuffle, which ends with Dracula being hung from a cross on top of a hotel with a picture of Jesus on it as he lays there and he's hung. One thing I don't have a problem with, vampires don't breathe. They have no lungs. So him being hanged wouldn't work. But I could see if they... Sorry, my nose is itchy. Fuck. I could see if they just had him hanging there and he can't get out, but he's going like he can't breathe. And to me, that's not a proper depiction of vampires. The vampires can't breathe. They're already dead. But anyway, it gets better because, and I don't get this part. They make a big deal out of Mary slipping out of his hand and falling to the ground. She's a fucking vampire. She's fine. And he's laying there like this. As the sun is coming up, he looks down at Mary and he goes, "You are free." And her eyes glow, and we're led to believe that she's now back to being normal. And then the sun comes up and he bursts into fucking flames. With the cross of Jesus staring down at him, he bursts into fucking flames. And he's forced to look up at Jesus as he burns. Being that this character is Judas Iscariot, this is his punishment for his betrayal of Jesus. Now, I'm not one to bring God into my reviews, but in this depiction, that is what it symbolizes. And I like it. I like it. I'm not a churchgoer. I believe in God. I believe He's watching over us. But that is awesome. This time watching, I'm like, holy shit. And I do mean, holy shit. Yeah, and then Simon comes down and then comes over to her. He sees the burning, and then we're shown an epilogue, basically, that they put him back in the silver coffin, because I guess you can never permanently kill Dracula. And I guess the burns explain why he's played by a different actor in the next film, and in the film after that, he's played by a different actor in each film. I think by the third one he can change his shape, but he does shapeshift here to a wolf, and then when they shoot the silver at him, he turns into a whole bunch of bats. That's pretty cool. That's earlier in the film, though. But yeah, and it's implied that now Mary is watching over the casket, and that the casket will be kept safe back where it was before, deep under the remnants of Carfax Abbey, and that now she and Simon will protect it. And then we get the sequel, which ignores that and brings in totally new characters that will continue to the third one. That's what I didn't like about it. I remember when I had the marathon, I watched this, and then I'm like, yeah. And then we get to the next one, and I'm like, what's this? What is this? It has nothing to do with the other one, other than they get the body. But it's not in Carfax Abbey. It's in a it's being taken. I don't know. I have to rewatch those ones again. Maybe. I don't know. But as it stands, this movie's pretty good. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. There's a few things to knock it down. I can't give it a full 9. Give it 8 out of 10 because I really enjoy this movie. I love this movie, man. 8 out of 10. Can't say more about it. Yes. So, 2 movies left. And because we're going in the order of Blu-ray and DVD, so then I have to get the Blu-ray out. So it is Escape Room. Forgot I had that in there. And then the last film will be The Exorcist, which is a classic, to be assured. So that there. I don't need the bag right now. So this will be the next review. Escape Room. Look for that. Yeah, so what are your thoughts on Dracula 2000? Do you love it like I do? Do you just like it? Do you think it's okay? Do you hate it? Why? Let me know in the comments below. Like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. I've been Scotty. See, you know what I mean.